Alright boys, it's time to get some predictions in for the Game Awards this year. For those of you who don't know, I do this every single year for the Game Awards. I do my predictions, my hopes, and my pipe dreams. I predict what I think will win the awards, what I would like to win the awards, and then I go into what games I think will be shown, what games I want to be shown, and my pipe dreams of games that I want so deeply to show up, but I know will never exist, no matter how much I cope for them. So we'll just go ahead and start with the awards. So let's get the big one out of the way. Game of the Year, I think this is a Baldur's Gate 3 win here. In fact, this whole show, I'm thinking is mostly probably a Baldur's Gate sweep. I could be wrong, but I think Baldur's Gate is probably going to sweep the show. My personal Game of the Year is Lies of P, but I definitely think it'll probably be Baldur's Gate 3. If not that, I think it'll be Zelda. There is always the possibility that Zelda sneaks it, because for some reason the industry just loves everything Nintendo does. Why? Like with Mario here? I'm not going to get into it, but Mario shouldn't be here. Best Game Direction, I think this is Baldur's Gate 3. I could see it being Alan Wake, but I think this is probably Baldur's Gate. I wish it was Hi-Fi Rush or Lies of P, though. Best Soundtrack, this is FF16. If it's not 16, then it is disrespectful to Soken. Like, Soken cooked so hard with this soundtrack. As much as I just absolutely abhorred 16, like, is that the right word? Like, I hated 16. I just can't stand the game. Soken cooked with the soundtrack. Like, he worked on the soundtrack while taking cancer treatments. Like, Soken has got to win this. 16 easily should get this. RPG, this is going to go to Baldur's Gate 3, but I wish it would go to Lies of P. Best Performance, this should be Ben Starr from 16, actually. I know there's a lot of the normies who loved Yuri Lowenthal as Spider-Man, and he did well as Black Suit Spider-Man, but Yuri's problem is, like, whenever I hear him, I can always tell it's Yuri. And I'm not saying he's a bad voice actor, he's just a one-note voice actor. I can always tell it's him, no matter what. Like, here's the thing. Do you think, like, Sam Riegel should have won Best Performance when he voiced an Amazing Spider-Man 2? Even though he did well, no, because Sam Riegel is always, like, you can pick him out. You know it's him. It's the same thing with Yuri Lowenthal. I can pick out that it's Yuri Lowenthal literally anytime that I hear him. He did well, but he didn't do exceptional. And that's just kind of why I don't think he should win it. I think it should go to Ben Starr. Although I guess the Baldur's Gate guy could sneak it. Best Narrative, I'm assuming, is going to go to Alan Wake. I myself don't have a vote for this. I mean, I didn't play Baldur's Gate or Alan Wake. Spider-Man 2's narrative sucks, shouldn't be here. FF16's narrative sucks after Oriflamme, shouldn't be here. So I don't have a vote for this, but I'm going to guess Alan Wake probably takes this one. Best Art Direction, I think this is a Zelda dub. I believe Zelda got nominated for this. I would personally give it to probably Hi-Fi Rush, but this is probably a Zelda dub, if I'm being honest. Assuming Zelda even got nominated for this. If it didn't, then Baldur's Gate 3 wins. Best Audio Design, this has got to be Hi-Fi Rush. I mean, off principle, this has to be Hi-Fi. If it's not Hi-Fi, maybe I'll start believing in that Xbox tax. But if Hi-Fi wins this, then I'm not going to change my position on Xbox tax. It's a myth. It is simply coping. But yeah, like Hi-Fi has to get this just off principle. I know that Alan Wake or Resident Evil is probably gonna get it because it's a spooky game. So the spooky games always win Best Audio Design. Nonsense. This is Hi-Fi Rush, and it has to be. Like I said, if this game doesn't get it, maybe we'll start talking about that Xbox tax. But this is a Hi-Fi Rush W. Best Action Adventure, this is Zelda, 100%. Best Action, this is a very competitive category. We have Ghost Runner, we have Hi-Fi, we have Armored Core, we have Remnant. My vote goes to Hi-Fi. I don't care who wins this, not going to be mad either way. So now we get into the games themselves. So, predictions. These are things that I think will be here. Assuming it is not shown before the show, GTA 6 will 100% be here. If it's not shown on the 1st, if it's not shown like anytime before the Game Awards, GTA 6 is going to be here for the Game Awards. Of this, I have no doubt. So, like I said, if it's not shown before, it's going to be here with the eyes of the world on it. I think that Suicide Squad is going to be here. I don't care that Suicide Squad's here. I think the game looks like trash, but I'm just listing off the games that I think will be here. I think Suicide Squad will be, even though that game is going to suck. Just just like Arkham Knight. Suicide Squad's gonna be here. Sadly, I know it's coming in 2 months. We don't have a ton to go off of for it. It's going to be here, and it will look just as unimpressive as it has literally every other time we've seen it. Elden Ring DLC, I think this is extremely likely. My personal prediction for this DLC since the last few months has been we probably see it at the Game Awards, and it comes out mid-February is my prediction. I didn't mention the awards thing. Sorry, backtracking for a bit. Most anticipated. Mine is Rebirth. I don't care about anything else. Anyways, back on topic. Sorry. The Elden Ring DLC, I think is very likely to be here. Shadow of the Erdtree, I think. I would lock in at like a 99% certainty. I'm pretty sure it's here. And I'm very excited to see it. I'm very eager to play that DLC, and I think that when it does show up, it's coming a lot sooner than people think. I think February is when we're seeing this DLC. I'm gonna guess it gets shown on December the 7th, and it gets a release date set for early to mid-February. That's my personal prediction. I know there's a lot of people saying, oh, maybe it gets shown here and it gets released 8 months later. This is a DLC, dude. It's not a new game, dog. This game is coming pretty soon, I think. I don't think we have to wait super long for this DLC. Next up, I think something for Final Fantasy will be here, whether it's 16 DLC, whether it's 7 Rebirth gameplay with like a Sid and Vincent trailer, or whether it's the elusive 9 remake. No matter how you slice it, I think something for Final Fantasy is going to be here. If I was a betting man, I would say that it will probably be 7 Rebirth, and then maybe probably after the Game Awards sometime, I expect there to be a State of Play at some point in December, and then after that, they'll probably do maybe 16 DLC there, because Yoshida had previously said that he does hope to share news on the PC version of Final Fantasy 16, as well as the DLC by the end of the year. So I'm going to assume that there may be a State of Play later in the month, and then we see 16 DLC. I think this is a Rebirth show, personally. As for the ever elusive 9 remake, you got me, dude. I got no idea. Many trustworthy insiders have confirmed its existence, and it's up in the air. I got no idea. Could show up tomorrow, could show up in a year. You got me. Kitase from the Rebirth staff had said that there is another big non-FF7 related announcement coming this year, so we hope you look forward to it, and we've yet to see what that announcement is, because he wasn't referring to 16's release, so I personally don't know. I'm assuming he was referring to the 9 remake, and I've also heard that game probably got delayed until 2024, 2025, but they also have KH4 to market, so I have no idea. I'm gonna say it's not impossible, but it's probably not going to be here. Wonder Woman, I think, finally gets a gameplay trailer here. That game got shown about 2 years ago with a CG trailer, and we've not seen it since. So I don't think it's extremely likely, but after 2 years, I think if you're going to show it, it's probably right now. If it doesn't show up here, then I would question if that game was in trouble or not. Let's see, Hades 2, lock it in, it's probably going to be here. I'm going to say 90% certainty. I think Hades 2 is probably going to be here. It isn't a game I'm particularly excited for because I don't play roguelikes, but I know a lot of people who are, and I think that it's very likely Hades 2 does show up here. And lastly, I think we have something from Capcom that will be here. I'm not sure what it is. Capcom supposedly has an unannounced title releasing before March. Or releasing before April, I believe it was, or maybe it was March. But the issue with that is, I feel like this was an error. Whoever reported this, or wherever the source is, I feel like this was an error, and I feel like this is Dragon's Dogma they were referring to. Dragon's Dogma got announced to have a March 22nd, 2024 release date, and I don't see Capcom cramming in another game a month before, or a couple weeks after. I don't see it. I think that the game they were referring to was Dragon's Dogma, and this was just poor phrasing on something. As for something from Capcom I think could show up here, I'm going to say maybe Pragmata does show up, because the Capcom showcase was about 6 months ago, and we did get a short like teaser for Pragmata, but it just didn't show anything really. So something from Capcom. I'm going to say it's either a new Monster Hunter or Pragmata. That's probably my guess. As for RE9 or Resident Evil 1 Remake, I think we're about 6 months too early on one of those. Resident Evil 1, I guess it's possible, but as for RE9, I think we're about 6 months too early. So now for the hopes section. These are things that I want to be here, but I'm not really expecting, but I wouldn't put out of the realm of possibility. So starting, whichever Final Fantasy isn't here. So if 7 Rebirth is here, then I would hope 16 gets a trailer, but I'm not expecting it. But it wouldn't be impossible. You know, they've shown trailers for 2 things at once somewhere before. Like I believe last year they gave a 16 trailer as well as a Forspoken trailer. So I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility, but I will say I think it's pretty unlikely that if one's here, the other will be as well. Kingdom Hearts 4, I would like for this to get a trailer, but I'm not expecting that till April at another KH concert. But I would like it to be here. You know, I'm interested in KH4. I'm interested in the direction they're taking for it. You know, I don't hate 3 like other people do, but I definitely wanted a direction change after 3. I think 3 definitely, the formula started to wear a bit thin on me. Next up is Wolverine. I think Sony is going to show off Wolverine on their own at whenever the next showcase they do is. I will say it's not impossible for it to be here. I think Sony will show something. I would like for it to be Wolverine, but I also doubt that it's Wolverine. But again, I don't think it's impossible. Crimson Desert, I think, actually has a decent chance to be here, but I'm not fully expecting it, which is why it's a hope. Crimson Desert could be the best open world game of this generation if it is as promised. Earlier in the year, I believe it was at a February earnings call, I think it was CEO of Pearl Abyss said that Crimson Desert will complete its development in 2023. Didn't say release, they said complete development. So safe to say that that would be about right now. And they would show a trailer for it here and then have, 5-6 months of polish on the game. So development is finished. It's content complete, but it's polishing. So if that is true and plans hadn't changed, I think Crimson Desert being here is likely. If that had changed internally, I wouldn't expect it. But I like to think Crimson Desert will be here with a new trailer of some kind, maybe a release date. He also mentioned that the idea of exclusivity is currently up in the air. It seems like a really weird thing to say, considering you'd want to optimize your game for whichever console you're releasing it on. Seems like a very, very strange thing to say. But I'm going to say that it's got a chance, but I don't fully expect it. Next is Stellar Blade. I would like for Stellar Blade to be here, for obvious reasons. All of us would. But again, I'm not expecting it. I think this is another thing that Sony might want to wait and show up on their own time because they do publish this game despite not developing it. So I could see them maybe putting it out here just to say, hey, PlayStation was at the show, or just not. And then just not have PlayStation be here. But I would like for Stellar Blade to show up here with a new trailer, release date. If it shows up with a trailer here, I'm going to say May is when it'll come out. Just a guess. I'm very good at guessing these sorts of things. As for a hope, Silent Hill 2 I would like to be here, but I doubt it given what Bloober Team recently put out. Hellblade 2 I want to be here. I really enjoyed the first game. So I would like for Hellblade 2 to be here and have, a really impressive gameplay demo because, that game got announced. Was it 4 years ago now? Yeah, it was in 2019, right? Because it got announced the same time as the next generation consoles, and that was in 2019. So we have gone 4 years, and we have seen, I'm going to say about 30 seconds of gameplay. I know they showed the quote-unquote gameplay demo like a year ago. Listen, you can tell from the camera angles and the way everything was happening, that was a cutscene. It's not actual gameplay. We saw 30 seconds of it at the Xbox Game Show. So I would like to see gameplay for this. I really like the first one. This game has potential, but it's really not a good sign when we're 4 years into this game being announced and they're still showing me tech demos for the game. Like that's not good. I'm real concerned about this. I want it to be good, but I just don't know, man. Like you're not convincing me that the game isn't in development hell when you're 4 years into the game being announced and you're still talking about tech demos for it. Next, I want Lost Soul Aside to be here. This is another game that is published by Sony, being made out of China, I believe. It's basically Final Devil Kingdom May Cry Hearts is about probably the best way I can describe it. It looks very, very good, very inspired, if you catch my drift. But it looks great. You know, it looks like they really understand what goes into making a competent action game. You know, a bit of Final Fantasy 15 here, as it's obviously inspired by that. A bit of Devil May Cry over here, a little bit of Kingdom Hearts over here. Game looks really solid. I think it could be something special, could be a great action game, but we just don't know enough about it. You know, the last extended look we got, like a long trailer, was about a year ago, a little over a year or two ago, when we saw him fight the big diamond weapon Nilo Angelo thing. We got a short trailer earlier in the year, but that was like more or less saying, hey, don't forget about this game, and that was it. So I think that the game is probably releasing next year. The rumor is early 2024. I'm going to guess that probably got pushed into late 2024. I'm going to guess September. And again, I'm just guessing these things. I have no source, in case you need to know. I am not an insider. I'm just good at guessing this sort of thing. So I think it could be here, and I would like it to be here. Give me a nice, good gameplay trailer. Give me a release date. Show me a bit more of the weapons. Show me more of the characters. Supposedly it was open world, but again, this was the open world mentioning of this game was like 6 years ago. It was a long time ago. That's what I'm getting at. This game was open world 6 years ago, and we have heard nothing else on it since. So I would like for it to be here. Game looks great. I think it's got a ton of potential, but you know, it could also just end up sucking. You know, it could look super snappy, super tight. Could look like it feels super good. Audio design, everything could be great, and then it could suck if there's just a bunch of input delay for no reason. You know, it's very possible this game ends up being bad, but it looks like it's gonna be good. And the last thing in the hopes is Black Myth Wukong. This game is coming summer 2024, I believe is what Game Science said last year. Was it last February, I think it was, or was it in August? It was sometime this past year. They announced it was coming summer 2024, and I am pretty excited for that, you know? I think that the game looks great. It looks like one of the best things in the industry. You know, for a long time I always thought, Souls-likes, you know, they're always kind of going to be derivative and not very good. Then I played Lies of P, and Lies of P literally just feels like, hey, From Software made a Pinocchio game. So Wukong could just feel like, hey, the Sekiro team went and made a Wukong game. So, you know, I'm not going to rule it out. Do I think it will be here? Probably not, because the times when they show off Wukong is limited exclusively to Chinese New Year and August 19th, 18th, or 20th. So it could be here, could not be here. I'm not super sure. I'm going to say that there's a chance, you know, while so many people are watching this, get a lot of eyes on it, and that's the release date. I think there's a chance it's here. And then for my pipe dreams, I have the same two pipe dreams that I've had for 4 years. You ready for this? The first one is a new Turok game. I want a new Turok. I want it so badly. Just, please. I like the original games, but something about the 2008 Turok game has always stuck with me since I was a real little kid. It was one of the first games I really played on the PS3 when I was a lot younger, and I want a new Turok so bad. I don't care if it's in the same style as that one, or an idea I had, maybe make it like an Alien Isolation style horror game with the dinosaurs. Like, give me something. Just please give me some Turok content, bro. I'm starving for it. I'm starving for Turok content. And the second pipe dream is a new Splatterhouse. I have not played the originals from like back in the 80s and 90s, but I played the 2010 reboot of Splatterhouse and I loved it. It's one of my favorite games ever. It's so fun. It's such a good hack and slash. You know, fun story, Eldritch Horrors, what's not to love. I want another one really bad. Like, just, I would say give it to Platinum Games, but do I trust them? Do I trust them after Babylon's Fall? I would love for a really competent action dev to get their hands on Splatterhouse and take another crack at it from that angle. Platinum would be, I guess, my go-to for that. but I was trying to think of another developer, but I guess it really is just Platinum. But again, I'm not confident in them anymore. But I want a new Splatterhouse. You give me a new Splatterhouse, you give me a new Turok, whatever it is, I'll buy it and I'll try it. And even if I hate it, hey, at least I tried it. But yeah, that's everything. That is my predictions, my hopes, my pipe dreams for the Game Awards. So we will review it all really quickly. Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate 3. Game Direction, Baldur's Gate 3. Soundtrack, 16. RPG, Baldur's Gate 3. Performance, Ben Starr. Narrative, Alan Wake. Art Direction, Zelda. Audio Design, Hi-Fi. Action Adventure, Zelda. Action, Hi-Fi. My predictions for what will be here. Oh, and most anticipated, 7 Rebirth. Predictions, GTA 6, Suicide Squad, Elden Ring DLC, something for Final Fantasy, Wonder Woman, Hades 2, and something from Capcom. Hopes, whichever Final Fantasy isn't here, Kingdom Hearts, Wolverine, Crimson Desert, Stellar Blade, Hellblade 2, Lost Soul Aside, Black Myth Wukong, Silent Hill 2. And pipe dreams, a new Turok, and a new Splatterhouse. So that's going to be everything for this video. We will see how correct I am in about a week. Very excited for the show. I think this show has a lot of potential to be very, very, very good. There's a lot of games coming up. There's a lot of uncertainty in the industry about what the major players are doing next, you know. Like, we don't know what Sony's doing next. We know that there's probably a new Ghost of Tsushima. We know there's probably a new God of War in development. We know there's probably a Venom game coming. We know that there's probably a lot of stuff. We know there's probably a new Horizon. We know there's probably a Horizon remake. We know a lot of probablys, but we don't know anything for sure anymore. So PlayStation could take it upon themselves to show what they do have coming, or they could do their usual thing and do absolutely nothing, thank you, Jim Ryan, until their next showcase in 3 years. So, you never know. Anyways, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know your predictions, hopes, and pipe dreams. I'm going to get out of here. Do I have anything else to say? I feel like I'm forgetting something. We'll say I'm not. That's going to do it. Y'all take it easy.